Hi, this is Minfridge and you're watching an absolute beginner's guide to baking oysters. This is an absolute beginner's guide because I am an absolute beginner and it's actually my first YouTube video on this channel. Therefore, please give it a like and subscribe if you like this video. Although I'm a beginner to cooking, I still consider my recipe to be pretty successful. So my recipe takes around 1 hour and 25 minutes and it costs around $7. So that comes down to $1.4 per oyster, while the cheapest oysters in my city cost around $3 per oyster. So I consider that to be a success. Now I'm going to take the oysters out of the fridge and start cooking it. Let's start by opening the oysters. Unfortunately, I don't own an oyster knife, so I will open the oysters by using an oven. First, heat the oven to 335 degrees. After that, place the oysters on foil on the baking pan. Then, place the oysters into the oven with the oven temperature around 335 degrees. After 4 minutes, the oysters can be taken out of the oven and most of the oysters will be cracked. I separate the oysters that I have opened and the oysters that are closed. I put oysters that are still closed back in the oven for a bit more time. Now I have my oysters cracked, I will start opening them. I'm using a normal table knife and I will start by inserting the knife into the crack and cutting the meat that is holding the shells together. There are two sides of an oyster, a flat side and a cup side. I want to cut the meat from the flat side because I want the cup side to hold the oyster meat like a cup. So as we can see, I'm trying to cut the meat and then crack it. It looks nice. Let's try this method with this oyster again. Oh, this one is a little bit tough. Now I cut the meat and crack it. It looks nice too. We can repeat the same process for the rest of the oysters, and even if we left oyster meat on the flat side, we can always scrape it off at the end. Now we have processed all of our oysters. Now let's give our oysters a clean bath by washing it under running water. Now let's add in the cheese. We can simply cut the cheese into small pieces and sprinkle it onto the oysters. Then I place it into the oven again and bake it at around 335 degrees. I open the oven door every 3 minutes to check if the oysters have been cooked. When the cheese had turned golden and crispy, we can take it out of the oven. And finally, the dish is cooked. Now let's dig in. The baked cheese and the oyster complements each other well. The cheese is crispy when I bite into it, while the oyster is soft and chewy. The cheese tastes milky and aromatic, while the oyster tastes salty. It reminds me of a Japanese restaurant that I used to go to before the pandemic. I really hope this pandemic ends soon, but before it does, I hope my videos can bring you joy. Thank you so much for watching. Please give a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one.